All right, folks, this is Jennifer Vaughn, your instructor for DAT 310 Data Analytics. And I wanted to walk you through, I wanted to do a video to kind of show you how to do some of the stuff in the Qlikview program because I went through the instructions myself and thought things were a little confusing. And I think this will help specifically with task 1-3 and then 2-1. You can't see 2-1 yet because that module hasn't launched, but the instructions are a little confusing. I think if I walk you through how to set it up, it'll make things easier, not only for 1.3, but also 1-3, but also 2-1. So if you go into the learning modules, you will see module 1 is here. And you've got some stuff on the Qlikview introduction, logging into the virtual desktop. You'll definitely want to follow these instructions on how to log into the virtual desktop and then set up Qlikview. There's a bit of work you have to do to kind of open Qlikview, get to the second screen, then close it out, and then double click on this license file to make sure that you've got the full working version of Qlikview. So first things first, make sure you follow the instructions here on how to get Qlikview up and working in the virtual desktop. And you'll want to do all of your work for this course, specifically around data and all the work you'll do in Qlikview. You'll want to do that on the virtual, the VDI, the virtual desktop, because you want everything to be saved there. It'll make it more secure, and we want everybody to have access to Qlikview there. So you'll want to make sure you do everything there. These are the actual data files that you need for this 1-3 exercise where it says loading data into Qlikview. This insurance application guide, this is the actual instructions to produce what you need to produce for 1-3 and 2-1. But I think the instructions are a little confusing, which is why I'm going to take you through this. But what we want to do is, even though this is the information we want to open, we want to do that in the VDI system. So if you go here to VDI Access, it's going to, again, bring you to this VDI screen. Hopefully you've already gone through here and made sure you can log in, done the setup, but you'll want to log in here. At least in my version, I've got two desktops showing up. This STEM SQL one is, I don't believe is active. It's the STEM Lab one that we'll be using for this course. So again, I've already done the login and everything like that. So I'm going to click on desktop and it's going to open up the virtual desktop. So you should see a screen like this. Just taking a second to log me on. All right, so this is what the virtual desktop looks like. Again, it's just it's basically like a server, another desktop that has all the programs and stuff that we need. So what you'll want to do is from within the virtual desktop, you'll want to get over to your Blackboard, and we're going to open up the data files and save them here onto the VDI virtual desktop. So wants to open up Chrome. Don't care about that. So let's go to the home page. Let me expand this. You can see it. I'm going to log in here. If you type, that will help me out. All right. Okay. All right, data analytics. So I'm going to come back over to that same area, the learning modules that contains the data files. Coming into module 1. And what you can do is, if you click on these, it will kind of open them up in the window down here. And then what you'll want to do is save each of them to, should be a folder in your virtual desktop that the documents folder should have another folder called course content. And that's where I've been saving everything. So I've saved all these different files, the insurance kit data, which when you double click it, there is data inside it. So if I double click on that, you can see that it's this insurance data file, which I've already unzipped. There it is right there. This is the this insurance data file right here is a Qlikview document. That's actually that's a file that I've created within Qlikview. But there's also this the application guide again is just instructions. But this starter one is the one that to me is kind of confusing. It doesn't tell you that you actually need to start with this one in the instructions. So I'm downloading that. I click on that. I think I previously saved it here. Yeah, so here it is, insurance starter. I'm going to move this over because I think it's good to have everything kind of in one place. So let's move it over here. So what you actually want to do, once you get those files copied into your course content folder, and you've made sure that you have Qlikview set up and everything, what the instructions don't tell you is that you actually need to open up this starter file first, and that needs to be your starting point. The instructions actually have you go through and open up the insurance data file and work through that, but you actually need to start here with this file because you're going to come back to it in exercise 2-1. And so if you haven't started here, you've got to kind of start all over. So what you want to do is open this up in Qlikview. I think mine's already open. If you see I double clicked on it, I actually opened it up in Qlikview. If you haven't done that yet, you can also go here to Qlikview, open that first, and then open up your Qlikview document there. But you can see here, this doesn't really make any sense. It's some Latin in here, but you're going to, in exercise 2-1, you're actually going to change this and create a dashboard here. But in this first exercise 1-3, you're actually just going to be importing some data. Again, you come back to this in exercise 2-1, but it doesn't tell you that in the instructions until it's a little too late. So what the instructions have you do is you're going to bring in the insurance data file. When you open up Qlikview, I actually want to show you something. Let me close this out for a second. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to open up Qlikview directly. Because when you first open up Qlikview, you're kind of left with the screen, and it doesn't necessarily tell you what to do from that point. So once you get to this screen, go ahead and open up that insurance starter. So you need to go here and find it. Okay, so now I've opened it. It's just another way to open it. And at this point, your first task in exercise 1-3 is to actually import your data. So this software program is maybe a little challenging to get used to. I've used a lot of different software programs doing analytics out in the workforce. I have not used this one before, but it's similar to a lot of other ones. Some things are maybe a little clunky, some things work pretty well. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to it, and don't let that freak you out. It's going to take some time to get used to it. It's a little clunky. At first, it's going to seem very foreign, but over time, it will get better. So there is this little icon right here that says Edit Script, and this is the icon you want to use to import data. There are other ways to do it. Some folks, when you open up Qlikview, it may actually bring up a window initially that says that wants to walk you through it in more of a wizard fashion. Just close out of that because it's not going to get you where you need to go. So close out of that wizard if that comes up, and click on this Edit Script button. That's going to bring up this weird looking window that has all the stuff that doesn't make any sense to you, but that's okay. So what you want to do is there's an insurance data file that's out there. It's in an Excel format, and we're going to use, it has a bunch of different tabs with different data pieces, data elements in it, and we're going to bring that into this Qlikview software program. So to do that, we're going to click on Table Files, and that's where you go and locate this insurance data Microsoft Excel file. So you're going to click on that, click Open. And it's going to bring up this screen here. This where it says tables here are the different tabs within the Excel file. So you're going to have to bring these in one by one. So what it's going to do is going to take each tab from the Excel file and create a different table out of it, which is what we want. But you've got to follow the steps for each of these tables shown here, which are tabs within the Excel workbook. So let's click on budget first. Again, I went through this already, so just leave it as is. There's really nothing you need to do here. Click next. This enable transformation step, I would skip that here. It kind of allows you to, it kind of goes into the data and where there are maybe data holes and data issues. It allows you to transform the data, but it's also very memory intensive. So let's skip it. You don't need it for this. So let's click next. And let's bring in the columns there. Click next. And then you click finish, and it's as simple as that. But then you've got to go back in and do it for the other tables or tabs. So you go back in here, select insurance data, open that up, go to the next worksheet, go through the steps again. Again, don't do this. Click next. Click next. Click finish. Keep going. Ledger is the next one. Click next. Next. Next again. And finish. And as you can see, as you're doing this, it's actually building, basically building the code behind the scenes that will read that information in and create a table out of it. So that's what it's doing. It's just building code behind the scenes, but it's allowing you to do it in a GUI fashion. So one more to go. Select it here. Last one is policy 2012. Next, skip that. Next, next, and finish. Okay, and so now that once you've pulled in all of the tabs from that Excel file, then you can click OK. And one more step, sorry, go back to the edit script. Again, if you close it out, you open up edit script, it should still be there. You can see it actually labels each of the things you pull in with what tab it came from. So while you're in here, there's this little button called reload, which seems kind of be a weird naming convention, but what reload does is it actually runs this script here. We're just going to read in all of the data files. It does take a bit of time, but you click reload, and you'll see it says executing script, may take up to several minutes, and it does take several minutes to read all of these data pieces in. Once that's done, there'll be some other icons that appear up here. And one of them is to show your data in a table view. It will show all of the tables and how they relate to each other. And I believe that's part of exercise 1.3 is to take a snapshot of that or show that you've made it to that step. So that's, again, that's how to read in the data. And for exercise 2.1, you actually, one of the things that exercise 2-1 has you do is come back to this project that you've started and do some stuff here, and it has you go back to the main board and change some of the language there, so you can kind of gives your project some labeling as to what it is, and then it has you go through the dashboard, and you basically build a dashboard out that will allow you to cut and slice the data in different ways. But again, if you don't bring in that Qlikview document first and bring your data in here, you've got to start all over. So now your data will be here. When you go to create the dashboard, the data fields will be there for you to utilize, and then you can easily do exercise 2.1. So hopefully this helped. Again, it's still bringing in the data. We'll take a few more minutes. So we'll see how this goes. I'll hang with you here so that we can see what that table view looks like. And just so you guys know, the course has you working with a few different data sets. It has this insurance data set that it has you working with to kind of get used to Qlikview and how to navigate Qlikview and do different things with Qlikview. But the main project is done on some airline data. And so there are some data sets that it'll have you using to sort of to kind of practice with and learn on. But again, the main data set will be the airline data. So you'll be kind of taking what you've learned with these other data sets and utilizing that to work on the airline data. And so that's kind of the way the course is set up. And you can see how it's telling you sort of how many lines have been fetched for each table that it's creating. Policy here is the last one. I think this one is a large one too, so it'll take just a few seconds to finish doing that. And then I'll show you what this looks like when you're done. All right, so once it's done, it's going to pop up this box, and these are essentially all of the fields available across all of the tables. These little keys, what these indicate are these are fields that are found across the different tables, and so they are ways that the tables will link to each other. So anytime it finds a common field name across the different tables, it's going to put this little key there that says, hey, this is a key field. It links to some of the other tables. At this point, you don't need to do anything. You can add, what happens is if you were to add all these fields, you can highlight all these fields and add them over here. It's going to show you them in a very detailed view with all these different fields, and it becomes very, very cluttered. Your stream becomes cluttered, so you don't really need to do anything. You can click OK here. And then there is another button. Let's add or remove some buttons here. Let's do toolbars. There we go. View toolbars. All right. So one of the things you want to do in the toolbars, let's add some other ones. Let's add design toolbar. I think this will get us what we need. Yeah, so the design toolbar is this one here at the bottom. And this right here that looks like these tables connected, that's the table viewer. So you want to click on that. And ta-da, it's going to show you what your tables look like at a high level and kind of how they link to each other. You can actually move these around if you want. It's up to you, but it's just kind of showing the tables, what fields are in each of the tables, and sort of how they link together. You can see budget join here, that field links to budget join here, policy ID links to policy ID. So it's just kind of showing you how the tables link to each other. And I believe this is the main point you need to get to for exercise 1.3. Again, exercise, you can click OK on this. This just shows you what the tables look like. Exercise 2.1 will then have you coming back, modifying this, creating a dashboard. But again, you have to have the data inside the project before you can add these dashboard items. And now that you've imported it in, you have the data there, you should be able to do exercise 2.1. So definitely you'll want to save this. Make sure you save it. It's going to call it Insurance Starter. You can change that name if you want, but to save as. Save it to whatever you want to name it. I'm just going to leave it that. But again, hopefully that helps get you started. Very important to start with that Insurance Starter Qlikview project that they gave you and then bring the data into there. All right, guys, see you on the next one.